Welcome everybody to NAB Stadium in Auchenflower as the Brisbane Capitals host the University of Sunshine Coast RipCity. I'm John Guarna. I'm joined tonight by former QBL champion and Siebel All-Star Dan George and former Southwest Metro Pirates general manager, coach, and also a pretty handy power guard, Dave Derwin. Fellas, should be a great game for us tonight. Rip and Caps in a rematch of a game a couple weeks ago that the Rip got the better of Brisbane in.
It's going to be a great match, and like we saw in the women, Johnny, a lot can change in a fortnight, and I think here on the Capitals' home court, it's a very proud club. They're going to want to come and protect home court, but I look down the other end and I see what I think is the best backcourt in the QBL with Izzy Tueta and Lance Hurdle, and a couple of handy players up front, obviously with Josh Tueta, and I'm looking forward to what's going to be a really tight contest and a lot of entertaining basketball tonight.
Dave, the Rip got the better of the Capitals a couple of weeks ago. The teams have been off since then, so this is their first game back after that tough loss for the Capitals. What do they have to do to turn things around and get a win tonight on their home court?
Well, I don't want to be too dramatic, but I think I'm almost going to call do or die here for the Caps this season. If they drop tonight, they'll go to 2-4, and they've got a lot of tough games to come. So they really need to get a win tonight, and I know they've been a little bit shocked, obviously, with the Dusty injury. A couple of new guys coming in, another import. Davis and Carla again playing good minutes, so they've had a little bit of integration problems, let's call it. They're still first in the league in points per game, so they can still score the ball. It's can they stop people? That's been a bit of their problem this year.
And they certainly carried a few injuries. One of the key injuries that the Caps had is Aaron Anderson. He was out for the first few weeks with an ankle injury. He still doesn't seem to be 100%. But if they can get back a healthy Aaron Anderson, we've got that fantastic point guard matchup on our hands tonight. Because to me, at the moment, Izzy Tueta, probably the top point guard in the competition. He might even be the top player in the competition with the way that he's been playing this season.
I agree, and I think Izzy Tueta is probably the MVP of the league at this point, and that's partly a personal bias. I mean, the guy was in the weight room today on game day. He's just the ultimate professional in the way he approaches things and looks after his body. But if Aaron Anderson's still hurt, and if he's not 100%, the Caps are done. I mean, they will go as far as he'll take them this season. And I think Dusty Reichart had his operation on Thursday. And if he's listening to this, obviously we wish him all the very best. And hopefully he recovers perfectly healthy, even if it's only so he can chase his daughter rather than play hoops. That's his call. But I think he was the heartbeat of this Caps team for such a long time. And his stats and his presence on the floor is one thing. But I just think his leadership and just the way he goes about his business is being missed. And it becomes obvious just how good he still was, even at 39, 40 years of age, now that he's not playing. So I think that's a massive out, and Aaron Anderson's got to step in and carry the load and really shoulder a lot of that leadership responsibility as well, and I'm just not sure if his body is up to it at this point, and if he's not, Izzy Tueta will take full advantage, and Lance Hurdle will take full advantage, and the Rip will get a really big road win.
And one of the players that the Caps brought in to add a bit of additional size, and they really brought him in to pair up with Dusty Reichart, is Nelson Collar. Collar has been having a good season, but do you think the loss of Dusty really changes the way that the Caps were planning on using Nelson this season?
Maybe not a great deal. I just think he's a different player to Dusty, and I think it's trying to compare them is a little bit awkward. That they are a little bit different. I think for me it's around how is Carla getting utilised this year. I mean, he's led the league in blocks every year he's played. I think he was 2.5 in 23 minutes last year. So the guy's on the NBL radar, and I just think it's actually more the other guys. What are we going to do with Ben Wilson? How do you integrate Ben Wilson? And equally, Jake Davis is their leading scorer right now.
Well, let's see. The Collar is going to have to play some big minutes tonight because it's a big rotation of Nelson Collar and Zach Carter. So they're going to have to figure out that rotation. Obviously, Brisbane wants to play at a fast pace. Rip, though, what do they need to do? They really want to play their game. They're not an uber-aggressive team offensively. They like to be pretty methodical and grind you down. What do they have to do to keep the pace at their play?
Well, I think the Rip do want to get up and down a little bit, maybe not as much as the Caps do, which are going to take 7-second offenses for most of the game, as they've done for most of the last few seasons. As we have a young fan in front of us, maybe 2 years of age.
You're never too young to be a fan of
Victoria
us.
Aldred's, I meant of basketball, not of us.
No, I meant of the call.
Well, it's Victoria Aldred, who had a great game in the women's contest. Her daughter's in front of us. But I think the Rip maybe don't play as quick as the Capitals, but they still do like to get up and down a lot. But I just think that's where Izzy Twitter, especially Lance Hurdle as well, is able to control the tempo, and he'll be able to recognise when to go and when to slow it down and grind it out and get a really good half-court possession.
I'm looking forward to the matchup. I'm really interested to see how the Rip come out as well. McAllister has been really good for them. We saw the Rip against the Pirates a couple weeks ago here on the QBL Game of the Week. Josh Tueta picked up a couple quick early ones, and it kind of changed the game for the Rip. He's an important player. His numbers don't necessarily jump out at you, but they need him on the floor because he's a pretty versatile player as well.
Yeah, and he still gives you 12 a game off the bench, so that's pretty handy. I think again, they're a pretty well balanced group, the Rip, and we've always talked about their strength is their starting five, so that's the other challenge is how they continue to integrate some of their bench guys and share minutes. But certainly I agree with Thunder. You've got a pretty hot backcourt for the Rip right now, and it's also good to watch. They move the ball, they share the ball, and looking forward to a really good game.
Yeah, Rip come into tonight sitting on second on the ladder. They were equal in the win and loss column with Mackay. It's the point differential that gives Mackay the top spot at the moment. Rip, though, I really think tonight is an opportunity for them to make a statement. They're at 4-1 coming into Brisbane, which is never an easy place to win. If they can really pull out a nice win, I think they stamp themselves as true contenders.
I agree, and the Capitals team's not as deep as it was in years gone by as well, especially in the front court, and that's obviously where Dusty's missed. But like Aaron Anderson's tested, if he's healthy, Carla's solid. Jake Davis coming off the bench, and he's putting up some numbers this year, shooting the ball at a pretty good clip. But outside of those three main guys, it's hard to know where they're going to get a 15, 20-point game from. So defensively is one thing, but they've got to be able to score if they're going to play this up-tempo pace. Otherwise, it's going to go into the Rip's favour, and they're going to play the style of ball they want, and they'll come out with a win.
Yeah, the other one we haven't talked a great deal about is, Zach Carter's still averaging 16 a game for them, so he's been good so far, taking up a bit of the slack from Dusty. But they are...
Well, scoring-wise, but
scoring-wise,
if you look at McAllister and Josh Tueta, I mean, who's Zach Carter guarding?
Yeah.
And if I was the Rip, I would just, whoever Zach Carter's running, I mean, just run me into an on-ball every possession and try and let him guard it. And in terms of rebound, I do not know what his rebound averages are on the season, but without Dusty, Nelson Carla's got to average 12, 13 rebounds a game, and Zach's got to average 7 or 8, and I'm not sure that that's his style of play. That 40-foot three is, though.
He drains it. First bucket of the night goes to the captain, Zach Carter. 3-0 for Caps. I like the matchup. Kopskis is a known quality defender. McAllister tries to answer with his own three. That's off.
And that's not a great first possession to me if I'm the Rip. I want to try and make the Caps play a bit of D, get Izzy Tueta, Lance Hurdle some touches. The McAllister three off one pass, I'm not sure that's the start they were looking for.
Collar with the reverse layup. Nice recovery there from Kopskis. 5-0 early for Caps.
And it'll be interesting tonight too, because they can throw the Kopskis and Windsors at Izzy all night long. So again, I'd be taking a little bit out of the Pirates' medicine against Bozeman, and I'd be full court picking up Izzy full court and trying to fatigue him as much as I can.
Great look inside from Carter to Ben Wilson. He's fouled. He's going to go to the line for a couple shots. Very good energy for Brisbane to start this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Terrence probably shared my commentary around it is do or die. I think they really have to win tonight, or they're in a bit of a pickle.
But I also think that Jeff thinks that his 14th preseason game in January is do or die. It's just his style of play. He's got so much energy all the time. And I think that in a positive way, I think it feeds through to his team. That's why they always bring, in the regular season especially, so much grit and so much grind. But you're right, there probably is a heightened sense of awareness about the fact that this is an opportunity for them to get their season back on track.
I had a couple of quick words with Coach Tarrant before the game. Definitely anxious for a big game tonight.
Oh,
McAllister.
Okay.
Nice follow tip for the first two for the Rip. He's been a great addition to the Rip squad, too. Really versatile big man. Anderson going to bring it out with Josh Tueta on him with 6 on the shot clock.
That's good D.
Kopskis wing 3 is off, and Tueta comes down with it.
Well, no blue jerseys on the glass either. It's one of their weakest
There's a lot of contact on that drive there.
Yeah,
Hurdle thought he was fouled for sure.
I think she missed that one.
Looked like, to me, he lost it on the way up. Collar loses that one, though. Ilton recovers.
Oh, just a tough pass against two white shirts right in front of him.
Hurdle kicks it out. Anderson chases it down. Left-handed layup is off, though. Here's Izzy Tueta, throws it up for McAllister. Nice touch pass. Ilton can't finish, but he's fouled.
That's a soft foul call. I think Louis got to go up and finish that strong. Great touch pass from McAllister, though, showing off his skill.
That one goes against Carter, his first, the team's first. Louis Ilton going to go to the free throw line for a couple shots. Comes into tonight shooting at 62.5%.
You know, and back to Kopsika's turnover. They just need to, and obviously they're trying to push the ball, hence they're averaging, 98 points a game or something like that, which is leading the league. Equally, though, he's got to mature, as do all their point guards, around being a bit more patient. They don't need to get a shot every time in the first 5 or 6 or 7 seconds.
Foul on the rebound. It's going to go against Zach Carter. That's his second personal. It's not good sign there for Brisbane. Carter, the captain, also.
I respect that. The fadeaway over 2 defenders. I feel you, Josh.
You want that fadeaway, Dan. Wilson picks up his dribble, gets it over. Carter, wing 3. Too strong. Tueta loses it. Nelson Collar recovers. And Kopsika skips it.
I thought Kopsika's had a little bank shot there, but he pulls it out and gets it to his man.
And I thought he was going to shoot the 3.
Yeah, he could have done that too. He had a couple of looks at it.
Anderson misses. 6-2 the lead here for the Capitals. 3 minutes into the game. Hurdle from the corner. That's off. Offensive rebound. Josh Tueta over to Lance Hurdle. Blocked by Collar. Collar lets him know about it. The old Mutombo finger wave. And Wilson gets fouled on his way to the bucket.
You got to love that, though. Carla says no, but Lance Hurdle attacking the glass.
He's got
That's
springs.
what we came to see.
Yeah, he is bouncy.
He is a bouncy frog. He just gets up so quick.
Is he seriously trying to complain that he got fouled down there?
I think he's talking about the possession prior to that.
Yeah, no.
No, there was no complaining on that one.
Of which he was right. I thought he absolutely got hit.
He was right.
Yeah, I think they need to really, obviously Anderson's coming back off some injuries. We think, and he's probably not 100%, but he really needs to get back to his dominant best, where he was one of easily the best point guards, if not the best point guard over the last couple of seasons, and the Caps really need it. Or sorry, Johnny, or they get the Kopsikas and Wilsons to be more playmakers, and then Anderson, who's a pretty legit three-point shooter as well.
I don't think that's the answer. If I'm the Caps, I don't necessarily want Wilson deciding what happens on offense. I'm not sure about that. I think the answer is Anderson's got to get healthy. Otherwise, it's going to be a season of less success than what they're used to.
Nelson Collar with the offensive foul.
I think Wilson's capable, though, Thunder, of making some of those calls. Because they can find him in the Brisbane offense. He can flash to the high post, hit the wing threes, maintain good spacing. We can disagree. That's okay.
What do you like? What do you think about that Collar offensive foul?
I think it was a good call.
Agreeing with the referees. That's new for you, Dan?
I take offense to this comment. I think our officials do a wonderful job.
Well, I was going to say.
Oh, what is that terrible? No, I'm joking. I'm only joking. The referees do a wonderful job every week, and they're never going to be perfect, just like no one's ever going to shoot 18 for 18 from the field. There's going to be errors from everybody, but for the most part, they do a great job.
Yeah, McAllister got called for the moving screen there, his first personal.
Good aggressive move here from Nelson. That's what you need to see. McAllister picks up another foul. That hurts the Rip.
That's also the 4th team foul. Second one on McAllister.
So we see Josh Tueta and McAllister now both in foul trouble. So that strength in terms of the Caps being a little bit thin up front, with Zach Carter not being a traditional big, playing on the perimeter more, and Nelson Carter is the only big. Well, both bigs are in foul trouble. This is where the injury to Rory Sutton, who's got a sprained ankle and out for a while, it looks like. This is where it hurts them, because who do they come back with now? Maybe you slide Louis Hilton to the 5, and that makes them very small.
Well, that absolutely suits Brisbane.
Sure does, 100%. And it means Nelson Carter will have 20 and 20.
McCullough went 1 of 2. Lead is 3 for Brisbane. Davis on the floor for the first time tonight for the Caps.
The Rip just look a bit lost, which surprises me. I'm not sure what their offense is like. That's not a good offensive possession. Oh, the Springs. You know what? What happened here?
He touched the ball.
What's wrong with touching the ball on defense? Why not?
You can't touch the ball after
delay
they, after
game.
they
Delay
scored.
game
Delay
warning.
game. Next one's a tee.
It was an inbound pass. He deflected it. He deflected an inbound pass. What's the problem with that?
I don't think it was. I think it was not in play yet, as in the ball was getting to the inbounder.
Davis in for the first time. That's Brandon Davis. Caps second import. He's got it now going against Hurdle. Davis going to fire a deep 3. That's Jake Davis. It's off. Good rebound there for McAllister. Izzy Tueta gets to the rim. He's fouled on his way up. Foul's going to go against Brandon Davis. Good recognition there by Izzy Tueta.
Well, I didn't think there was a lot in there.
If I had hops like Lance Hurdle, I'd get up at 5 a.m. in the morning and just drive around playing pickup all day. I'd just pick random people and just dunk on them from dusk till dawn.
I wouldn't know the feeling, Dan. I
Or
could
the other way
barely,
around,
I could
dawn
barely
till
touch
dusk.
the net.
Whichever comes first.
Both. Just full
Just 24 hours.
7.
Yeah, that's it.
All day, every day?
Well, back to your point, Johnny, the Rip offense looks a bit funky because Tueta hasn't had the ball a great deal, and he needs to take control and put guys in spots.
I was thinking the same thing, Dave. Especially when you see a broken offense like that.
Yeah.
Like the next possession or 2 or 3, he's got to make sure he directs traffic. And now they've got a small lineup out here. He's got to really make sure that they run their stuff. And I think it's got to be Izzy Tueta or Lance Hurdle have to feature heavily here. And those guys need to take all the shots.
Louis Hilton can't finish the layup attempt. Here comes Brisbane on the run with Anderson now. Left-handed layup too strong. Davis tips it and is fouled.
I think we're just seeing a frustrated Aaron Anderson. Obviously just working himself back into health and form.
Well, his Jets in transition look good, but...
George, just his finish is rusty, which will come back quick. I mean, he's a great player, as we all know.
Yeah.
Brandon Davis with the foul. That's the 5th team foul on the Rip. So they're in the penalty, and Brandon Davis is going to go to the free throw line for a couple shots. He's a 75% shooter from the free throw line in his debut QBL season. Davis missed them both. 9-8 the lead here for the Rip. Meal has it for Rip. Louis Hilton banks it home. Looked like he took a couple steps there, but referees let it go. Collar wants it, doesn't get it with Tueta on his back. Anderson over to Jake Davis, wing 3, off the front of the rim and out. Brandon Davis nearly tips it. Now Tueta has it for Rip. Skips it over to Zeke Meal. Now Walker over to Izzy Tueta, wing 3 up, and good.
Well, Davis down the other end has really got to make that right pass. I mean, Carla was right there. And you've got to feed the big guy, especially in this Caps group where you'll get good inside-outside action out of it.
Well, this is an adjustment I think Coach Tarrant might have to look at making, especially in this style of game where it's up pace. They might have to slow it down and say, let's somehow work Nelson Carla to a post up or a side on ball with Carla and Anderson, just something different, especially with a couple of injuries that they've had. Obviously, we spoke about Dusty and the new import still finding his feet. They've got to be careful not to get into an up and down pace of game as well when they're not scoring as efficiently as they have in years gone by.
Timeout taken on the floor. We'll take one as well. 3:45 to go in the first quarter. It's a 14-8 lead for the Rip over the Caps, and your QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. 14-8 the lead for the Rip over the Capitals. Want to give a shout out to Dusty Reichart checking in with us. Dusty, wish you all the best in your recovery. And maybe we should see if we could get Dusty in the booth with us one night. I reckon he'd have some pretty good insight as well.
I agree, and I would almost be tempted to pick a game that would be a blowout and just let him tell stories for 40 minutes. I think that would be awesome. So one way or the other, I think you need him on the mic.
Well, we'll see if we can get him out here.
The over opposite us in the crowd is good old Mr. Basketball Brian Curl. He's seen a few games in this venue, hey?
Just a few. Carter going to check in, give Nelson Collar a breather. So Zach Carter back on the floor with 2 fouls. He's got to play smart. Jake Davis has it guarded by Meal. Now out to Brandon Davis. 10 on the shot clock. Brandon Davis gets inside, left-handed layup short. Bit of zone here from the Caps. Tueta is going to fire a three that's off the front of the rim. Brandon Davis comes down with it. Christian Lamb on the court for the Caps first time tonight, as is Timothy Song. Davis goes to his left hand, finishes strong through the contact.
Well, it looks like he's licking his chops with Meal in front of him.
Well, and he has to. I think, especially if Aaron Anderson obviously still not quite 100%. If you're an import, and especially in a guard-heavy team like the Capitals are, and you're an import guard, you have to find ways to contribute. So he's got to see this and recognise that, well, I've got to step up and score the ball here. So hopefully, for Brisbane's sake, you see more and more of that. And if they can find a way to rebound, which hopefully they can with the two bigs from the Rip, both in foul trouble, they'll be well on their way to getting the season back on track.
Good, couple of good defensive efforts down this last end from the Caps. They've really lifted it in this zone and daring the Rip to shoot a three. Last 3 possessions, really good defensive energy.
Lead is 6 for the Rip. Got the Meal brothers out there for Rip with Tueta, Ilton, and Walker. Tim Swong is on there. Guarding Tueta, who takes the jumper. It's off. Ilton tips it. Jake Davis pulls down a defensive rebound.
Well, you can't allow Ilton 2 offensive rebounds in those back-to-back possessions when you're going to go as small as what Brisbane are.
Brandon Davis, floater is up. It's short. Thought there was contact. Zane Meal gets inside. Left-handed runner is off. Jake Davis another rebound, and then he's fouled by Meal. It's going to send Jake Davis to the free throw line for a couple shots.
There, the Caps D at the moment really frustrating the Rip here. Good little run here. They've really dug deep defensively. And Rip are struggling to get some good looks.
Yeah, they are. And it's a track meet. Like, this game is not high scoring at all, which is surprising given how quickly the pace seems to be. But I'm a little bit surprised too. It's me being just a dumb big guy, but I'd love to see Nelson Carla back out there. He would have 20 rebounds tonight if he was able to play 30 or 35 minutes, given how small this Rip team is, with Josh and McAllister both on the bench in foul trouble. So hopefully they can roll Carla back out there and he can block shots, change shots, get on the glass, and give them an inside presence for the Capitals that I think would be a big advantage.
Yeah. On that point, Thunder, Caps, horrible rebounding team, 13th in defensive rebounding and 12th in offensive rebounding so far this year.
And when you know that your team's going to shoot a lot of threes, as a big, you can go crash the glass.
Yep.
And he knows they're going to shoot threes, so you can get in the position, hopefully, to rebound. And if he can pick up an extra 5-6 possessions on the O boards, that has a massive difference in the course of a ball game, especially if it's going to be a close one like this looks like it will be.
3 seconds on the shot clock. Walker, catch, shoot. It's up and good. Big bucket there from Peter Walker.
That was a big bucket.
You see, where do you see Rip having some success? Because they are struggling against the zone. Do you see any spots you'd like to see him attack?
Well, they just look a little bit lost, which is kind of surprising. Because we all know what Brisbane's defense is. They just look a bit rattled. I mean, Brisbane's extended their zone a little bit, and the Rip just haven't responded.
Good hit there by Christian Lamb.
I mean, probably the other thing, they're used to playing with a McAllister or a Tuita down low, so that's probably messing up their flow a little bit offensively.
Ilton fouled. There's 2 Caps players around him. Let's see who they give this one to. Going to go against Tim Song. So Louis Ilton back at the free throw line. He's having a field day on the offensive glass. He's had 3-4 tips and a few legit rebounds.
Well, Thunder claims to be a big dumb guy. Well, I'll be the dumb little guy. It's called defensive rebounding. It's called boxing out. It's really not that difficult. And that's what, I don't know what the stat says, but let's give Ilton 4 offensive rebounds in the first.
Well, that was a pass, I think.
Sorry, that was actually, yeah.
But you're right, the same thing. You can't also just let him cut baseline when you played great defense for 20 seconds.
There's about a half a second differential between the game and shot clock. Then they get a foul inside.
Well, both in the bonus
off the ball.
Yeah.
It's going to go against, looks like it's going against
Lamb will shoot.
Zeke Meal. Christian Lamb go to the free throw line for a couple shots. 17 seconds to go in the first quarter. It's a 7-point lead for the Rip. Lamb hits the first. You coached Christian at some point in his junior career, didn't you, Dave?
Yeah, he was a Southwest junior, and we had him in the 20s, Queensland 20s. To Thunder's point before, it's Brisbane 4 of 17 to start the game, and the Rip 5 of 20. So been a bit of a rough game offensively for both teams.
Izzy Twitter has it, gets inside, kicks it out to Meal. Wing 3 is up, it's short. Walker tips it, it's off. And that's the end of the first quarter. The RipCity are up by 7, 21-14 over the Brisbane Capitals. Pretty good first quarter of action. That zone really forced the Rip into some tough decisions to make, but Caps haven't yet found their offense either.
I like that last position for the Rip. Man or zone, whichever Brisbane decide to play. Just getting the ball to Izzy Tueta, little on-ball pick at the top and let him create. I think that's a good look for them. Against the zone, the Rip are happy, it seems, to settle for a couple of ball reversals. No one's really that assertive. They're taking what Brisbane are giving them rather than trying to force it onto Brisbane's defense. And I think that's the switch that the Rip need to make, just to try and put onto the Brisbane and dictate terms to them rather than letting Brisbane's defense get them out of sync.
All right, well, with that, we'll take a quick break. It is the end of the quarter. It's a 5-point lead. I've got the wrong score here. Unfortunately, it's 20-15.
15-20.
Over the Rip over the Caps. Your QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. It's a 5-point lead for the Rip over the Caps, 20-15. Pretty interesting first quarter of action. Dan, a bit of foul trouble for the Rip. Caps also with a bit of foul trouble as well. Carter's got 2. And you see the 2 big men for the Rip, McAllister with 2 and Josh Tueta with 2. That didn't seem to affect either team's play.
Well, it's hard to know what they wanted to do coming into the game, but I feel like McAllister and Tueta both having to sit out in foul trouble is a massive loss for the Rip. I think that was one of the main strengths they would have identified over a smaller Caps team. Nelson Carla should be, well, he's on the bench now, but he should be pumped knowing that both those guys are in foul trouble, and the Rip's front court's much thinner. So I do think that had a big impact, but even with them out, these Rip guards, especially Izzy and Lance, need to find a way to dictate terms to this Brisbane defense.
Dave, what you had a look at the box score. What stands out to you from a statistical standpoint?
Well, I think we talked a little bit about in the opening around nerves, and I actually think it has a bit of a playoff feel to it as far as they both know this is an important game. Brisbane 4 of 17 in the first quarter. 2 turnovers has been good to keep. That kept them in the game a little bit. Good call.
Carter liked the matchup inside. Zeke Meal picks up the charge. That's Zach Carter's 3rd personal foul.
Yeah. I mean, it was unlucky, but he just needs to rise up. There's no need to try and bang him, and now he's going to sit. And the Rip equally a 6-22. Excuse me. So both teams shot the ball pretty poorly. I mean, Brisbane had a lot of good transition action. They just didn't finish.
Hurdle back on the floor for the Rip. Caps back in there man-to-man. Hurdle's going to fire a deep 3. It's too strong. Song with the rebound.
Well, that's almost a frustration shot to me, as Izzy Tueta goes down heavy. Jake Davis knocks it down, but Lance taking a contested shot from 5 feet behind the line. I think it's a bit of frustration because he's not getting any clean looks, which is another reason why the Rip, even against this kind of awkward Capital Z defense, and they're doing a good job on the glass, these fellas off the bench.
Yeah, it's Peter
Nelson
Walker.
Carla's got to control the boards for Brisbane. But I think Lance is just frustrated at the lack of good opportunities he's had to shoot the ball, and that might not have been a great shot that he took.
Peter Walker giving the Caps, the Rip some good minutes here. Carla with the turnover from the Caps. Turnover numbers for Brisbane.
Great pass.
Yeah, they're
Nice
okay.
pass.
It's only their 3rd turnover, so
They usually take care of the ball, one of the strengths of the team.
they do. And the Rip are actually the #1 in the league, so the Rip going to look after the ball as well.
Nice acrobatic finish there from Brandon Davis. It's a 5-point deficit for the Caps, 25-20. Lamb picks up the personal, his first. Kopskis and Anderson check back in for Song and Lamb.
I haven't seen Seb Windsor either tonight, which is one of the staple guys for the Caps.
Well, he's certainly on the bench, just hasn't seen the court yet.
Yeah, I normally like what he brings to the group as well.
Shot clock violation, no communication there from the Rip. That's a frustrating turnover if you're a coach, especially because the team, you have to know what's happening out there.
Well,
it's frustrating for the players and the coach,
Well,
because everyone should have known. Side out of bounds, the coach needs to be aware as well.
Him and the 6 guys wearing black shirts, they didn't help him either. So
Air ball there from Davis, Brandon Davis.
That's not a good sign for the Caps import. When Dusty went down, obviously it was disappointing for every Capitals fan and player, but you'd almost expect them to say to Davis, like, I'm really sorry, but we need a big. And shots like that maybe don't help that argument.
Davis misses, that was Hurdle with the miss. Hilton chases it down, Hurdle gets it back again. His jumper's off, and then there's a foul inside, battling for the rebound.
if that's on Davis, that's a horrible call. you had Louis Hilton bulldoze through. So that's fine. It's just that it's either a no call or it's offensive. I'm happy with the no call, but that's just a bad call.
Brandon Davis gets called. That's his second personal. It's the third team foul on Brisbane.
I didn't see it, Dave, but did Davis get in front and box him out really strongly? Because if he didn't, Illy's more than entitled to crash the boards hard, because Illy's not a really skilled player. Let's just call it as it is, and he would admit that too. But, I mean, his strengths are he's always in amazing shape, first of all. And he just plays hard, which is defense and offensive rebounding.
Oh, I just thought it was a fair contest. If anything,
just let it go.
Hilton, if anything, Hilton possibly.
Hilton's fired up. He's going to get a breather. Alley-oop for McAllister's tipped by Collar. Brisbane comes up with the steal. Anderson finds Brandon Davis, gets his feet in the paint. Left-handed layup is good. Deficit is now 3 for the Caps.
Well, they got to keep Anderson in the game. It's really that simple. Everything runs better.
Triple teamed, has it stripped by Kopskis. Pass up ahead though is stolen by Hurdle.
Again, another turnover from Kopskis, who unfortunately only goes at 147 kilometers an hour. You just got to learn to relax a bit. There was no real need to push the ball.
This Rip defense is, this game, I'll say it differently, is lacking structure, which from Brisbane's point of view is not surprising, but it is a little bit surprising from the Rips' point of view. It's just, I feel like I'm watching a pickup game at the moment.
I think it's being played at Brisbane's pace as well. Brisbane's happy to play this way. They've really sped up the Rip and taken them out of their game. Collar deep 2 is too strong.
You know, similarly, I think we can get a better look if I'm a Caps fan. We had a middle on ball, which was refreshing, and then and Nels just settled. I think that's a bit of a frustration as far as, well, I haven't touched the ball or seen a shot for a while. I might as well just shoot the ball. Again, he can get looks out of that flex offense.
He can, yeah. We all know that Brisbane double team the post from the low side, right?
Yeah.
They've been doing that for 5 years or something. So they've got to be careful. The Rip entering the ball to the post off one pass. As we saw, McAllister got poked in the eye, according to him, but double team, triple team almost led to a turnover. And that play again got tipped out of bounds, but it was the same. Soft pass into the post, and Brisbane's coming with a double. I just think the Rip have to move the ball and play with a little bit more structure than what they're doing at the moment.
Yeah, often the smart play is the quick kick out or the weak side skip.
Or exactly, reverse the ball, let that post back pick hurdle into the post, or you got to get the post catch on the move, coming down and going wing entry post up against a team that allows the entry pass to then double team and trap it. You got to get a ball movement and get someone coming to the post. That's what you want, but get them off the move. Cross screen to the post, down pick, back pick, however you do it. But I just don't think you can go one pass to the wing and a soft entry pass, because that plays into Brisbane's defense perfectly.
Absolutely.
Well, that's why I was referring to before. Brisbane doing a good job, and this is their game. They force you to play uncomfortably or out of your comfort zone, and Ripper playing right into it.
Yeah, and again, Brisbane just hasn't made some shots, unfortunately. 7 of 23 for the game so far, and only 2 of 8 from 3. I was looking at before this week, and they're averaging 38 threes a game. The old Capitals. It's almost Houston Rocket-like.
Well, I was talking to V-Dog before the game, and that's just the modern game of basketball nowadays. You see it even in junior basketball. It's a three-point fest.
Yeah, they can't lay the ball up with their left hand, though.
Well, that was the other thing that we said as well.
Or come to a jump stop. But they can shoot threes.
Well, you're definitely 110% right. And that's one of the things that you see how strong Australian basketball is at the moment, but you worry about these future generations, because the strength of Australian basketball in these last 10 to 15 years has been the fundamentals.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we don't have the 6'8" athletes that other countries do. And great take from Kopsikas then. Good read.
Kopskis is one of the leaders of this team, which is interesting because he's been involved for so long.
That's such a bad shot.
Yeah, well, McAllister took Nelson Carla and said, I'll raise you one because I haven't seen the ball in a while. I'm going to jack up too.
Ben Wilson picks up his dribble, passes kicked by Lance Hurdle.
Geez, I'd like to see Ben Wilson finish on the rim on that. You know, I don't know, he's got his feet in the paint. I'd really like to see him just go straight over, was it Walker? Yeah, straight over Walker and finish strong. Like, he's a big, strong guy.
Anderson gonna fire a deep three, that's off. Walker comes down with it for the rip. Max Curl on the court for the first time tonight for Brisbane. And Dave, you remember when we had the rip against Pirates, we interviewed Izzy Tueta postgame and he mentioned Peter Walker and what a difference maker he's been. He's been really good for them tonight as well.
Yeah, he has. He was good, certainly was good against the Pirates. And again, he's getting big minutes because some of his big guys are fouling out.
Good look from Collar to Curl, who can't hit. McAllister has it stripped though. Kopskis floater's too short. And then Kopskis gets called for the foul. Looking for the steal. That's the 15th foul on Brisbane. They're in the penalty. That's going to send Zeke Meal to the free throw line for a couple.
Well, Caps are trying to fight back into this ball game, and they just can't give away cheap fouls like that. Down 4.
So Zeke Meal going to go to the free throw line for a couple. He's only taken 8 free throws so far this season. He's hit 4 of them. First one is good.
Did McAllister get did he pick up his third?
No, he didn't. I just think he's not playing well.
Yeah, right. I didn't think he picked up a third.
Curl finds Anderson open in the corner. 3-pointers off, but there's a foul. Calling it offensive.
Geez, Joshie Tueta, he hasn't played. Bit of an NBN curse. He hasn't played a great deal on the 2 games we've covered.
Carter talking from the bench. Referees tell him to have a seat. He's playing with fire. He's got 3 personals already. Thought it was an offensive foul they called, so I'm not sure why they're shooting 2.
Well, we had a bad look at it, but I think Anderson shot the ball in the corner, and as the ball's in the air, they've called a foul on Max Curl for grabbing or holding or something.
Okay.
So I think that's why they've got 2 fouls. 2 shots, excuse me.
1 of 2 for Meal. Lead is up to 6. Max Curl gets to the bucket, hits the shot plus the foul. It's a good finish.
Textbook Capitals offense, isn't it?
Yeah. But
kick, penetrate.
Well, the difference then, I thought then Thunder was they had good spacing but nice crisp passing. Sometimes they muck around with the pill a bit too much. Where on that one it was really nice crisp passing. Kopskis had a nice cut, made the extra pass, and then so did Aaron Anderson. So really.
And it's interesting too that I think Izzy Tueta's only got the 1 foul, I think. I'll have to get you to check the stats, Dave, but when he's been sitting for a while and this RIP team remain directionless.
He's got half their points, and then again,
it's possessions like that, and we all know that may or may not have been a flop. But it doesn't matter if you give the chance to the referee to make that call. Obviously, there's a chance he's going to call it. You just can't put the ref in a position where he's got to make a decision like that. And that's where I think Izzy Tueta's got to get out there and take charge and guide this RIP ship in the right direction. As we see both teams still struggle to score the ball, really. Quite a low-scoring game. as Twitter is coming back in now.
That could have been really bad for Max Curl. Laying out there, there was a stare right in the way. I thought he hit his head. Thankfully, he's all right. Good hustle there from Max. Tech foul, I think, is going to go against Zach Carter. It's going to be his 4th personal from the bench. And that's just, there's no way to say that's just a bad call. He knew he was teetering on the edge.
Well, no, to his defense, he's talking to his teammate, and then the referee thought they were talking to him.
But again, like we just said with that Kopsikas call, which Lance Hurdle says it was a flop, it may or may not have been. The refs had to make a decision. So if you've just been warned, don't stand up, especially when there's a C next to him and you're supposedly the leader. Like, don't give the referee an opportunity where they have to make a decision. They've just warned you. Sit down.
Well, especially when he's their second leading scorer, and scoring is something they're lacking.
And size. I mean, he's one of 2 people in the big man rotation for Brisbane.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Josh Tueta. Reverse layup. Lead is 7 for the Rip.
Sneaky little step in there. No.
Good catch inside. Collar finishes with the left hand.
One deficiency so far for the Rips, D, is that they're really not defending the split, and there actually is a lot of seams and a lot of gaps in there that Brisbane just haven't exploited so far. Good hit from Hurdle on the wing.
Man, he's got such good, nice elevation on that jump shot.
Amazing hops. Sure does.
This is where the Rip now need to sort of knuckle down here, get a few stops, build a bit of pressure. Again, try and get into the break by, up 10 or so will make them feel good. Put a bit more pressure on the Caps.
Anderson kicks it.
Too.
Collar, corner 3 is too strong. And then Curl is fouled inside. That one's going to go against Zeke Meal. That's the 3rd team foul.
I reckon Meal's
Rip.
been on the ground 47 times in the first half.
Curl was trying to get a couple free throws out of that one. I don't know where he thought he was getting those from.
Oh,
wow.
That's a bad. It's just bad.
It's bad.
Hurdle, corner 3 short.
Good job.
Ilton, great offensive rebound. Josh Tueta double team, gets it to his brother Izzy. Wing 3 is up. It's banked home from Izzy Tueta.
He'll take it.
Izzy's experienced enough just to turn around and run back like he meant it.
Anderson, corner 3 is off, and then there's a foul inside. It's going to go against. I thought they gave that to Izzy.
I'm confused too. Is it a foul on White? I think it is.
I've got no idea what just happened.
No, they're going to give that one to Meal. Sorry. That's his 3rd personal. It's the 4th team foul. So why is it 2 shots?
That's on Anderson.
On the shooter. Interesting.
Yeah, there was a bit of action at the high post, so I didn't really see what happened to Anderson afterwards. But
thankfully we have Braden Hesselhurst here as our 3rd man in the booth, clearing things up for us. Coach Hesselhurst getting prepped for a big game tomorrow versus Toowoomba. Doing a bit of scouting here tonight. Also prepping him to become a play-by-play man.
Can he handle the Bows man? That's the question tomorrow. Well. Tough loss last night for Toowoomba by 8.
Yeah, they gave Townsville all they could handle. It was ugly at points. It was a very physical game.
Well, Bows didn't shoot the ball that well, but they had a sniff.
Anderson really short on that first one. It's really odd to see him struggle like this. We've seen him now for 3 years in the QBL, and I haven't seen him struggle like this. Well, I don't think ever.
I'm sitting here feeling for the guy because I can't imagine how frustrated he would be, because we all know what he's capable of, and it's obviously his body. And I guess when your body stops you from performing the way you want to, and you know you're capable of it. It's frustrating. But again, like we said earlier, John, with the women's, all it takes is a couple of foul shots sometimes to get someone going. So there we go. We see the ball go in twice. Maybe that's all he needs to get his rhythm back, because once he gets it back, the floodgates will open and he'll be a great player again. And hopefully for Brisbane's sake, that comes sooner rather than later.
Izzy Tueta double teamed, has it stripped by Kopskis. It's going to stay with the Rip with 12 seconds to go on the shot clock. Fade away by McAllister's off.
Was there 12 seconds or 1 second on the shot clock there for McAllister? Oh, that was 12. I think he thought there was 1.
Wow.
Izzy Tueta saves the day.
Izzy Tueta with 20 points now. He is absolutely carrying the Rip. And without him, they're lost tonight.
It's all off broken plays, though, like that, where he kind of gets a ball reversal, shot fake, steps into a 3. It's not really off structured hoops, which is even more impressive.
I'll give the Caps guys a tip. You probably want to box out Hilton.
Well, a lot of those broken plays are second chance opportunities where Hilton's keeping it alive with a tip or grabbing a rebound.
Yeah, well, it's not like, and if you're going old school hoops like I like to sometimes, it's not like they're coming down and running sets and Izzy comes off a couple of picks for an open 3.
No, he's just
that's not happening at all.
He's just junking it up and working his ass off. Yeah.
They tip it out, they reverse it, he gives a shot fake, and just broken offense, like you said, Johnny, and he's been knocking them down. He looks in great shape too. I actually did a weight session with him about a month ago, and that dude goes hard. It's the fittest I've seen him for a while.
I say it every time we see Izzy, but how he hasn't been signed to an NBL contract is baffling to me.
Well, he should be. And if the NBL guys are doing their job and scouting the Australian landscape, he will be signed at some stage over the next month or so, you would think. I don't know what else someone has to do to get a shot.
Well, to me, the difference I see in Izzy just from last year into this year is defensively he seems really locked in. He's doing a great job defensively, but I also think his leadership has really stepped up another level as well. You see him out there, he's always directing, he's always talking. And you don't really see any negativity out of Izzy. You used to see him when he was a bit younger, quite frustrated, get really angry and lose his cool. He just seems really even-keeled and playing confidently and positively.
Yeah, just a big maturity shift, certainly. And he's been outstanding so far this year.
Max Curl's going to fire a 3. That rattles home. Curl's giving them some good minutes tonight. Pass. Izzy Tueta stolen by Collar. Anderson has it. Step back jumper's up. And good.
Well, that's where I'd like to see McAllister sprint into a high on ball for Izzy, you know? But Aaron Anderson getting his groove back one shot at a time.
Ripper going to hold.
Come set a pick, you know? There's 8 seconds. Come set a pick for him.
Yeah.
And it makes him try and create something. Turnover into another turnover. Come set a pick. Like, you got to help the dude.
Well, they got one more possession here. They knocked down a 3. And Brisbane will certainly head to the locker room feeling pretty good about themselves.
So the technical wasn't against Zach Carter.
No, Tueta. It was bench tech?
It was a bench tech. Anderson stripped, but they're going to get Tueta for a foul.
Well, not a good sign for Rip. Anderson's now nice little Jimmy getting to the foul line. All good signs for Brisbane.
Anderson back at the free throw line now for a couple shots. His team's down 7, 43-36. Little offense-defense swap here. Jake Davis takes a seat. Nelson Collar checks back in. Hilton fires a 3, it's up. It was good if it counted, but it's short. And that's going to end the first half with the University of Sunshine Coast Rip up 5, 43-36. 43-38 over the Brisbane Capitals here in Auchenflower. Guys, quick thoughts before we break.
Great effort from the Caps to come back. I mean, they did not shoot the ball well. Very easily get deflated when you're playing like that, but they fall back in a 5-point game for them. They'd be pretty happy, I would think, given where they were at 5 or 6 minutes ago. But if I'm the Rip, I feel like I've let an opportunity slip a little bit. They were in complete control, but I just don't think they were structured or disciplined enough to take full advantage of the Caps' poor shooting. So now they're in a fight on the road, 5-point up. The second half, third quarter specifically, is going to be a real battle. So we'll see who comes out and who can make the adjustments. Brisbane are going to do what they always do. Can the Rip adjust and change their style of play a little bit and try and help Tueta get some easy shots, help Hurdle get going, get McAllister some looks? We'll wait and see, but so far it's just been pretty much a pickup game, really, from my point of view, which doesn't help the Rip style at all.
Dave?
Yeah, I think statistically, the Rip have dominated the boards dramatically, and that is a couple of things. They need to get some help for Izzy Tueta in the second half, or I don't think they'll be able to sustain it. It's really that simple.
All right, well, it is halftime, so we'll take a break. It's 43-38. We'll come back with some halftime statistics and the second half of action here from Auchenflower on your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Welcome back to NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. It's just about 2 minutes away from the start of the second half. It's 43-38 for the University of Sunshine Coast Rip over the Brisbane Capitals. I got the feeling in that first half, it felt like the Rip were going to pull away from the Capitals. Caps did a great job to get it back to 5. It was a tight second quarter, though. It was all even. Dave, I know you looked at some of the statistics at halftime. What are you seeing?
Well, I mean, obviously, we talked a little bit about Izzy Tueta. So he's got 22 points on only 10 shots. Super efficient, shooting 6 of 8 from threes, handy. The Ripper +9 on the rebounding count, which is really hurting the Capitals. And we talked about that before the season, or before the game, Tip. So everything's going to plan there. For me, the interesting one is the Ripper have got 11 turnovers, which is their season average. They're number 1 in the league. So a little bit uncharacteristic there. So they struggled a little bit with that zone from Brisbane, and that got them back in the game. So, I think good signs for Brisbane is Anderson starting to look a bit more comfortable. I'd really like to see, I think one of the things was when Brandon Davis was injected into the game, a bit more penetration and finishing at the rim. He had 3 or 4 layups, I think, and then missed a couple as well. So a lot of good opportunities. They fall in love with the 3-ball too much, where I think they need to have a look at that penetration. And there's a lot of guys who can beat their man and get feet in the paint. Put the defense under pressure more, get to the foul line, finish them on the rim. And for the Rip, Hurdle's having a quiet one, 2 of 10. They just need something from someone else other than Tueta. Otherwise, I just don't know if they can hold on for another 20 minutes with him carrying them.
McAllister's been quiet tonight. The fouls didn't help him, though, Dan.
No, and it's always hard to get in a rhythm as a basketballer when you get in foul trouble. You have to sit. You come back in for a couple of minutes, then you sit again. But the start of the half is always a chance to come back out and get back in your flow, which hopefully for the Rip's sake he can do. But it's just a game of extra possessions. I mean, the difference in the scoreline so far, I think, is that the Rip have had an extra 6 shots, and that's largely due to the O-board. So if the Caps can try and control the offensive rebounds that the Rip have so far been able to get, as Aaron Anderson looks like he's back, at least showing signs of it. If the Caps can control the rebounds in this half, then they could easily come out on top here unless Izzy Tueta goes for 40.
Well, at the moment, it is a 3-point lead now for the Rip.
Better offense from the Rip. Can't get a bucket, but a little bit more structure, which is great as Wilson goes down somehow.
Caps recover, though. Zach Carter on the floor. He's got 3 personals. I thought that tech went against him, so I got to take it back. As Aaron Anderson drains one to tie it. I got to take back what I said, Zach. It was a bench tech, obviously. And then Kopskas fouls Izzy Tueta on his way to the bucket, so Izzy's going to go to the free throw line for a couple shots.
And if Aaron Anderson's feeling good, which it looks like he is, and Izzy Tueta's on his way to 40, we've got a matchup to watch for the next 20 minutes. This is exciting. It's great. We mentioned earlier, it's great to see Anderson hit a couple of shots. We spoke early when he's at the foul line about how difficult it is to watch a talented guy struggle, just to get back in a rhythm. And it looks like, as we said, a couple of foul shots, you see the ball go in, and all of a sudden that hoop starts getting bigger and bigger. And he started this quarter with a couple of great buckets. So let's see if he can keep it up. Hopefully he can.
That deep 3, that's the one that tells you that he's back, isn't it?
No doubt.
Yeah, the other interesting one tonight, just to illustrate how scrappy it is this is the number 1 and number 2 teams in the league in assists. And they've only got 8 each in the first half. So it really has been a
great
really
pass.
scrappy
Wow.
affair.
That's a heck of, when you look at that, if there's an NBL coach watching, when you see a play like that, I just don't understand how he's not signed. Dunk that. Give me something. I'm here for the highlights. Nice finish though.
Hey, that brother connection, the Tuetas, is a pretty good combo for the Rip. Ilton turns it over.
And the Capital crowd is getting a little bit more involved in the game.
Anderson.
Oh, no.
Looks like he hurt himself.
If he's had a bad ankle,
yeah, that's his
and he's grabbing the same ankle, that's tragic, mate. It looks like he's in pain.
He's going to try and walk it off. It's sore, obviously.
I don't think he's
done,
walking that
man.
off. Yeah.
He's done. Jeez, that breaks your heart, man.
Thought he was going to try and walk it off, but he's struggling here a bit, Aaron Anderson.
If I'm his teammate, then go help that dude, man. Help him off the court.
I don't know if they could keep him on the court here. He's walking very ginger.
I think the rule is
tough,
anyway.
man.
He's if they stop the
He's
game,
got to shoot the foul shots, doesn't he?
He has to go off. Yeah.
Well, he's going to stay on the court.
He is.
He wants to stay.
He is tough, man.
He's going to try and.
Oh, that's going to piss him off. Excuse my language. But sometimes you can be too tough for your own good, and I know Coach Tarrant wants nothing other than to protect him and look after him. So hopefully he's healthy.
It just didn't look like he was going to be able to continue. He wants to try and push it off. He's going to. You see him warming up a little bit behind us, trying to walk it off. He's jogging it out, so looks like he's going to play through it. Christian Lamb has checked in for Aaron Anderson. Carter has it on the wing now. Kopska's wing three is short. Hurdle skips it over to Izzy Tueta, uses the pump fake. Now back to Hurdle. He'll fire the wing three. That's good. He's really looking for that jump shot, isn't he? But it's good on that ball, on the ball reversal. Good patience from Hurdle initially.
Much better defense these last couple of possessions for the Rip too.
Yeah. Well, the Caps have got to do a better job of defending Hurdle. I mean.
Oh, that went everything but go. Did everything but go down.
Wilson inside, fading away. It's short.
He is going nowhere down there.
Izzy Tueta's going to slow things down. He wants to run some half-court action for the Rip.
And this is what I was talking about earlier. Izzy Tueta directing traffic, getting through offense. This is the kind of style that I think suits the Rip. They can play up and down, but I think it suits them a lot better to do what they're doing here. And Lance Hurdle is catching fire out there.
Well,
see what happens when they slow down and they run some sets, get a bit of movement, a couple of picks. The quality of shot is so much better compared to what they were getting in the first half.
Well, it is, but I mean, you know, the Capitals have got to. The Caps have got to, you know, check themselves. How do you lose the guy 3 times, the last 3 times, like a guy like Hurdle, averaging 22 a game?
Kopska's picked up his 4th personal with an offensive foul there. So Anderson going to check in for Anthony Kopskas. Referee's having a bit of a chat.
Well, was there a tech?
It was an offensive. It was an offensive.
No, there's a tech now on McAllister. Is he?
It's unforgivable, mate.
What's he got?
That is
4. Yeah, it's his 4th.
8-point game. You get a call in your favour, and you're going to jaw again. Pick up your 4th foul and give up 2 shots to Aaron Anderson.
I don't know what he's angry about. He got. They had the ball.
Well, that's my point. Like, and now you throw the towel. Like, if I'm the coach, the team manager, make him go pick that towel up. You know, it's culture.
I think he's just walking off his frustrations. He's lucky he didn't get the second tee for the towel. But that like, as you said, though, it definitely hurts because the team had the foul call as Wilson can't finish. We had possession. You're about to potentially increase your lead.
Hey, you're a grown man. Like, I don't understand walking off frustrations. I don't get it.
Walker can't get the 3 to fall. Collar picks it up.
I'm wearing a T-shirt tonight from the Still Our Eyes website, custom made, that says "We over me." I'm going to go give it to McAllister and remind him that it's about we, not me.
Well, and they're in, you know, they're in control still. They've handled everything Brisbane's thrown at them so far. and they just got to continue to do so. And Hurdle's naked in the corner again. I'll see if Brisbane lose him. No, they leave the guy that's got 6 of 8 threes.
His shot has not even touched the rim tonight. Anderson's moving pretty well too. I'm sure he doesn't feel great, but he's moving okay, which is awesome.
Here he is against Louis Ilton. Gets inside. Fadeaway jump shot is too strong. You see Josh Tueta wearing the number 15 jersey. Dave had the inside scoop. There was a bit of blood on his jersey.
Yeah.
So he had to swap numbers.
Well, he's got his thumb tape. I think his thumb was bleeding.
Josh in the corner fires a 3. That's good.
Oh, my goodness, that hurts.
Big 3.
That hurts Brisbane.
Josh has been a good three-point shooter this season. He's hitting on 66.7% of his three-point shots.
That is exactly 2 out of 3 for those listening at home.
Carter answers on the other side.
A little bit of offense has finally arrived at Augenflower.
He was actually 4 of 6, Dan. Same thing.
Which is, yeah, thank you. Yes.
Don't want to sell Josh short, though. He's hit double that. As Hurdle fires again.
Is that the 4th literally wide open 3?
And the guy elevates so well, he doesn't need much space at all, because by the time he elevates, he can shoot over anybody. So if he does get a step or 2 extra like he has, well, it's basically an uncontested jump shot, which you don't want to give up too many of.
Lamb's going to fire his 3. That's short. Collar grabs the offensive rebound.
Well, again, he had a good seal on Ilton, and again, the 3-point or die offense.
Yeah.
Great look for Wilson from Collar.
Just simplify the game.
Well, it's an adjustment for these players as well, because for years they've been taught that they're not really running post-ups. Now you've got a guy that gives a really good post target. I mean, Christian Lamb's probably not conditioned to look for post-entry passes as Anderson looks.
That is a foul all day, every day.
Coach Rousey of the Rip going to take a timeout. It's a good one as Brisbane starting to heat up. We'll take one as well. 3:20 to go in the third quarter. It's a 62-55 lead for the Rip over the Caps in your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. 62-55 the lead for the Rip over the Capitals. It's a good time out there by Coach Rousey because the Caps are starting to get themselves a bit of momentum, Dave.
They were, and we see Windsor checking into the game for the first time tonight.
Yeah, Seb Windsor coming off the bench. Didn't see any action in the first half. He's joined on the court by Ben Wilson, Aaron Anderson, Jake Davis, and Zach Carter.
Well, maybe he can help them. It's called locate a three-point shooter. That might really help to start with.
Josh Tueta from the free throw line. His jumper's too strong. Zach Carter grabs a defensive rebound. Now Anderson has it. Anderson's going to fire a deep three. That's off the front of the rim. Walker with the defensive rebound. Neal in the corner. His three-pointer is too strong. Ilton, another offensive rebound. He has it stripped by Anderson. Anderson gets it out to Seb Windsor. Elbow jump shot is good.
You know how hard it is to sit there for an hour and a half and not move and then come out and hit a shot like that?
Yeah. Well, that is literally Windsor's favorite play right there, the pump fake 3 and 1 dribble pull up.
Josh Twetta double teamed. Hurdle now has it for the Rip. Now Walker with 6 on the shot clock. Ilton trying to drive baseline. Good pass to Josh Twetta. Misses. Ilton
wow,
offense.
he's doing work on the glass. I don't know what they're complaining about a travel for. I mean, Ben Wilson's got to take that challenge. You can't let someone outwork you over and over and over.
That's all it was. It just got outworked. Equally with the Caps defense, I know they want to get active, but they're not guarding anyone in it. So again, this quarter we've seen 4 or 5 open threes, and they're running bodies around, but they're not very efficient in their assignments. So it's like under 16s. I tell the same kids on Friday night, guard someone. You've got to guard someone. And Brisbane are just running around, and their communication's been poor tonight.
Ilton makes 1 of 2, lead up to 6 for the Rip. Minute 45 to go in the third. Windsor's gonna fire a 3, that's good from Seb. Gotta love what he's bringing to the table in his first few minutes.
Yeah, he's like, hey coach, don't leave me out again.
There's that zone again from the Caps. Hurdle's gonna fire over the top of it. There's a foul. It's an offensive foul inside. Gonna go against Josh Twetta, it looks like. Brandon Davis checks back in for the Capitals. Jake Davis has it now on the wing, puts it on the floor, kicks it out to Ben Wilson. Wilson going at the defense, can't finish.
Good D, Twetta.
That's good defense, absolutely. Speaking of Twetta, as Lance Hurdle just springs, man. He just rises up so quick.
Yeah.
Easy Twetta. I know they're getting him some extra rest here, but gee, that's hard to leave him off the floor. They just look so different when he's out.
Brandon Davis's 3 is too strong. Jake Davis grabs the offensive rebound. Seb Windsor from the wing again. It's good. Gotta love it. He's brought it to the court.
I was talking to his sister, his mum, before the game. So they're here to support him, which is excellent.
That's nice to know.
Yeah. Well,
nice,
just, you know.
Nice insight, Double D.
Bit of family support. Good to see.
3-second call against Josh Twetta. About 10 seconds to go. Brandon Davis gets the inbounds, gets it over to Jake Davis.
Well, the Capital faithful would like a bucket here. Crowd's finally in the game.
There's 1 on the shot clock. Davis throws it up. It's an air ball, and that's the end of the third quarter. And heading into the final quarter of action, we've got a 3-point game on our hand here, fellas. A great, great third quarter of action from both teams.
Absolutely, Johnny. I'll just
leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with the fourth quarter of action here on your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. Heading into the fourth quarter of action, it's a 66-63 lead for the University of Sunshine Coast Rip over the Brisbane Capitals. Great third quarter. It was close. Brisbane won that one only by 2 points. They've gotten really, really close. They just haven't been able to get back over the hurdle. Do they have enough left in the tank to do it in this fourth quarter?
Well, the hurdle is exactly what it is, Johnny. 4 threes in the third quarter. That was the big difference. We said the Rip needs some help, and Hurdle answered. He hit 4 or 5 from downtown. Now he's got 17, and as you say, the Rip have done everything they need to do to hold the lead so far.
Wonder if Izzy Tuetta's going to see the bench ever again for the rest of this quarter.
I would doubt it.
I don't think he will, unless they're up double figures with a couple of minutes left maybe, but even then, I reckon he'll play 10 minutes straight here.
Ilton forcing his way to the bucket, misses. Then he nearly steals the ball.
He'd crash into that staircase right where Max Curl hit as well.
I don't even think Louis felt it, to be honest with you.
The stairs did.
The stairs did, that's for sure. I think every team would love a player like Louis Ilton on the roster, though, wouldn't you? He just goes so hard all the time. They want to count the bucket.
Are they really going to count that?
I think they might, actually.
Come on, man.
They are, yeah.
Oh, my God.
So they're counting the Zach Carter 3 to tie the game at 66.
Wow.
Then there was a foul off the ball.
On the box out from Hurdle. Good job from Wilson taking it to him. Wow, imagine they get a 3-ball here. Big 6-point swing to start the fourth.
That'd be huge. I thought Carter was firing that one. He'll fire this one, though. Corner 3 is short. Jake Davis offensive rebound out to Brandon Davis for 3. That's good. And the Caps take their first lead in, I can't even know, I don't even remember when.
I'd almost say the first lead of the night.
What a massive possession. 6 points on one trip down the floor.
Hurdle, though, open again for 3. That's off, but there's a foul inside. It's going against Ben Wilson. It's his second, the team's first.
Another foul?
Sure is.
That one's going against Jake Davis.
Wow. They need to be smart here because they were in the bonus early in the third quarter as well. Luckily, the Rip didn't take advantage of it, but
Neal gets his feet in the paint.
That's 3. That's just dumb. 3 quick fouls. They got to stop hacking and move their body.
It's about 6 seconds. They picked up 3 fouls. And there's aggressive, which you always love to see, but you got to be smart and aggressive.
Yeah, it's you know, good team defense as opposed to individual hands and steals.
3-second called against Louis Ilton. That's a turnover for the Rip. So I wonder if the constant pressure and the energy is starting to wear on the Rip a bit.
Well, that just suggests that Louis wasn't sure what offense was being run, which comes back to the earlier point about playing with a bit more purpose. If I'm the Rip, like 3 seconds in the key, which has happened a few times now as Zach Carter goes down on defense. It just shows that maybe they're not running sets which everyone knows where everyone's going. I don't know how you get stuck in the key so much, nor do I know how you leave Lance open so much, because he is cooking.
Lance Hurdle, another 3-pointer, knots it at 69. This one looks like it's going to be going down to the wire, boys. Jake Davis, deep 3. That's too strong.
Yeah, not a good shot. He's 1 of 5 now for the night. He is their leading scorer, so he's been really quiet.
Izzy Tuetta inside. Again. Josh fading away. He's fouled.
That's 4. Wow. They're going to be in the bonus for some time.
That's 3 personal fouls against Ben Wilson, the 4th team foul. Kopska's going to check back in. He also has 4. He's coming in for Seb Windsor.
Those are great minutes from Seb Windsor. Why is Nelson Carla sitting so much?
I was just going to say, I don't know why Anderson and Carla are sitting.
Josh Tueta hits 2 free throws, and Anderson checks back in for Jake Davis.
I'm sure his ankle hurts, and he's just too tough and proud to let it show, but it's so great to see him running freely, and hopefully he can get the form back that he was showing glimpses of earlier.
Kopska's in the corner for 3. It's short. Izzy Tueta now has it. Neal dumps it in for Ilton. Back out to Izzy. Now Hurdle again, wide open for 3.
He's hot. Ooh.
Way off, but Ilton just drops
hot.
it back home.
I think that's his 11th rebound of the night.
Kopskas finds Davis, who can't handle the pass. Out to Anderson now. Back to Kopskas, wide open for 3. Short again.
Doesn't even look like going in. Great extra dribble from Anderson. That was pretty to watch.
Great find.
Yeah, really set up Kopskas. Yeah, he hasn't had a good night. 1 of 6, 4 turnovers for Kopskas.
Everyone's confused. Ben Wilson and Zach are complaining.
I think
the Ripper huddling up. They don't realise the foul's on Louis.
It's a white foul. Yeah.
No, what is going on here?
I don't know, but I'd be giving Windsor a quick drink and getting him back in. I mean, his energy defensively and then offensive punch really got the Captors back in the game.
Who for Kopskas to take a break?
I think so. Just at the moment. And again, I liked it when Davis's penetration was really good in the first half. Just like that, on cue.
I thought that was in the cylinder. They're going to give it to Collar, though, for the follow.
That was 100% in the cylinder, that one.
Neal's baseline floater is too strong. Ilton again on the offensive rebound. He's fouled.
Ilton is saving them. They fluctuate the Rip between playing really good, structured hoops. You can see what they're trying to do. And then for 3 or 4 possessions, it's just pick up. You can't really tell what they're trying to achieve. But they get bowed out by Louis Ilton just being an animal on the glass.
Yeah.
And that's 5 team fouls against the Capitals, so they're in the penalty. Ilton doing a pretty good job from the free throw line, too. And I jinxed them. It works every time, I'm sure of it.
It sure does.
Backdoor pass is tipped out of bounds by Louis Ilton. Excuse me, Josh Tueta.
It was good action. I don't know why Carter was trying to catch the ball. You know, basically where Fiona is. It was just a really tough pass to make. The intent was good. McAllister has been sitting a while.
Anderson.
I would be hesitant. Sorry, Johnny. Great move, Anderson. I'd be hesitant to put McAllister back in.
Yeah.
Depends how well Josh or how effective Josh Tueta is here.
Walker airball. Tueta misses the follow. Tipped around. Brandon Davis comes down with it. He's trapped and finds Carter. Carter kicks ahead for Aaron Anderson. He wanted that 3. Good defense by the Rip.
Roll, big boy.
Carter long 2 is banked home. And the Caps retake the lead.
I like that, though, from the Caps. Davis into that middle on ball. And I've got shooters like Kopsakis and Anderson there.
And you give Jeff credit for making that adjustment because you don't see that often, but they went with it, and it's effective.
Absolutely. And I'd be going back again with Nelson again. And Anderson, he wants it too. Anderson's a terrific pick and roll player.
We spoke about it at halftime. If you help off the roller, there are shooters everywhere.
Yeah.
If you don't help off the roller, Nelson's dunking it.
Yeah.
It's such a hard guard.
Yeah, I mean, they got great three-point shooters all over the floor.
And here comes McAllister on those 4 fouls. This is a pivotal time in the game, obviously. 4 or 5 minutes left, 1-point ball game. McAllister didn't do his team any favors on his last time on the court. Here's a chance for some redemption. Hopefully he can crash the glass and be effective down there and take away a lot of what Nelson Carl has been giving the Caps.
Well, he's just been really frustrated. Only 4 shots, and I think we joked about 3 of them were horrible.
Well,
because he was frustrated.
Well, be frustrated all you want. Go get 5 offensive boards and get yourself 5 shots that way.
Yeah.
Anderson's 2 free throws give the Caps a 3-point lead, 77-74. 4:40 to go in the game. Neal's going to fire a 3. That's good. And we're tied at 77.
That's a big shot.
Yeah, that was a big shot.
Carter's pass is too strong for Collar. It goes out of bounds. Tueta splits the D, can't get the shot off, but he'll go to the line for a couple shots. It's a great split there by Izzy Tueta.
I'm a bit confused with what defense the Caps are trying to execute. I mean,
what do you see him?
Well, I don't know if it's a zone or a man because I mean Tueta just ran down the middle, and 3 blue shirts are hacking him, as opposed to good defense. Man up, move your body, stay in front, and play good team D.
Kopskas fading away, it's too strong.
Great ball.
Brandon Davis offensive rebound. Now Anderson's open, top of the key 3 is up and wet.
How do you let Brandon Davis get a no board?
Yeah,
if you're McAllister down there. Give him credit. Aaron Anderson takes advantage.
80-78, Capitals in the lead. 3:30 to go in the game. Lance Hurdle gets inside, long 2 is short. Offensive rebound, McAllister puts it home.
He is.
That's a tech.
Mate, he is
that's a second, so that's a tech.
He is moments away from a complete head snap. I'm not surprised. The Rip will complain, and rightfully so, but they didn't see what McAllister did.
Is that his 5th now? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
His 2nd technical and his 5th personal, so he's out of the game.
He does.
But it's the right call. He laid it in and he threw the ball to the glass. If you catch it and it goes in your hands and you drop it, maybe, but he rolled it back to the backstop. Like you can't complain. When Nate sees the replay, as frustrated as he is now, he'll say, "Mate, on the replay, that's the right call."
You can't touch the ball. That's it. That's it. Full stop.
But but it happens. Sometimes you're in there and it just falls to your hands. But he laid it up, so if it's right there, he doesn't need to touch it.
Yeah.
If Izzy Tueta hits a 3 and it splashes, I mean, it's in my hands. Whatever happens, but just drop it where you are and run back.
Yeah.
He took it and rolled it to the backstop.
Well, I think also, Coach Rousey wanted to roll the dice with McAllister.
So is it a
picked
bench
up his
tech?
5th?
Is it a personal foul though?
It is.
It is. Yep, that's his 5th. So it was a tech on McAllister for the delay game.
So why is he ejected?
I think they're just sending him to the locker room to keep it cool so he doesn't.
He's a head case, mate. Let's call it for what it is. There's a 3-point game, 80 all. I apologize to my boys at the Rip because I do love them, but that is unforgivable from a senior experienced player in a game this tight.
and it hurts them just from a playing perspective. Forget about what just happened and the score. They need him on the court.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I mean. And they have played so well and been in control for most of this game. Now they're in a battle, and all the pressure goes to Josh Tueta, and he's more than capable, but you know, you'd love to have McAllister out there for what he gives you.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, we give, we could get a better shot than that if we're Caps fans.
Hurdle with 8 on the shot
Just
clock.
rise up. There you go. Shoot over anybody. But still, not a great shot for the Rip. They can manufacture something better than that.
Davis sneaks one home. Caps up 3. That was a tough bucket.
Yeah, he made up for the last questionable shot. Again, interesting to see what the Rip will do. They need to get the ball in Tueta's hand so he can make it the right decision.
He's going to fire a deep 3. That's
very deep.
Off the side of the rim. The Auckland Flower faithful
good
are
timeout.
going crazy. Coach Arousey's going to take a timeout, so we'll take one as well. About 2:20 to go in the game. Caps up 3 on the Rip. And your QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia. Back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auckland Flower. The Caps have come thundering home. They're up by 3, 83-80, 2:20 to go in this game. Taking a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard. And it's the Townsville Heat all over the Southwest Metro Pirates, as are the Mackay Meteors over the Rockhampton Rockets as Brisbane comes out of that timeout and turns it over. And Logan also up big on North Gold Coast. So this is the game right here. The other games, they're nearly over, even though there's plenty of time left. All double-digit games. We can't find the score for you on the Spartans-Gladstone game, but this one's tight. It's a 3-point game, under 2 to go. Izzy Tueta swatted by Nelson Collar. Kopskas has it. Layup is no good.
Great job by Izzy not to give up on the play. He got ejected, but forced a tough shot, as Anderson does exactly the same thing for his team.
Kopskas pass is tipped out of bounds. It's going to go off a Rip player and stay with Brisbane. Brisbane's got 21 seconds to go on the shot clock here. Kopskas inbounds pass stolen by Izzy Tueta. And then Izzy Tueta loses the ball out of bounds.
Yeah, come on.
(83-80), minute 30 to go in the game. Couple of turnovers for each team, both ways really. Anderson picks up his dribble, finds Brandon Davis on the wing. Goes inside for Collar, one-on-one with Hilton. Tueta.
That is the right call.
Yeah, good call. Unfortunate.
It's close. He probably didn't use much force, but the hook was definitely there.
I was just excited because there was a post feed and a cut from the top.
What are the Rip going to run? This Brisbane zone is really playing with them at the moment. Struggled to get any good quality shots. What are they going to run here?
Well, I still think they can run their horn set that they like. They executed it well against the Pirates a couple of weeks ago. It's about 3 illegal screams on Hilton in one possession.
Well, there's 5 on 4 on the shot clock. Izzy Tueta goes to his left, fires the 3. It's good.
Shot.
Big shot. Called it a 2.
They called it a 2.
But the score is so Brisbane up 1, Johnny?
83-82. Anderson.
Wow.
I thought that was going down. That's a foul.
Jeez, Lance Hurdle's frustrated. Wow.
That puts a Rip in the penalty.
Because it was 83-80, so they called it 2.
Well, I thought they called it a 2. The scoreboard says 83-83. Here, we have it as a 2. I'm sure they called that one as a 2.
Yeah, I think the score is 83-82, but we'll have to check and see what the scoreboard says.
Timeout on the floor. 45 seconds to go in the game. I don't know if they're going to talk about this. The scoreboard shows 83 all. We're gonna change it. We're gonna say we're not at 83.
Well, you would have thought someone from the Caps bench would have been right over questioning their home stats keepers if that was accurate. At one point in a game like this could be the difference between a win and a loss.
It is not at 83 though with 45 seconds to go. It's a good timeout taken by Brisbane. Who do you look for in this possession, Dave, coming out of the timeout if you're the Caps? Surely you got to look for Anderson.
Well, you do, and you know you've got.
And actually, I'm sorry, Anderson was fouled, so he's got 2 free throws.
Yeah, he's at the foul line. But the next time down, I mean, I know it was a tough shot from Tueta, but if they're going to settle for that again, I don't know if I don't like the Rips' chances if they need to do that again. Late clock, big 3. But I think, sorry to Johnny, to answer your question, absolutely I want the ball in Anderson's hands for the possession, but the Rip will get another look here.
Anderson missed the first. He's missed a few tonight, but I'd say this is probably one of his best games.
Yeah, 9 of 11 from the foul line. 23 big points from him.
Second one is good. The Rip down by 1 with 40 seconds to go. Who's getting the shot?
Well, it's Lance Hurdle or Izzy Tueta. I'm happy with either of those guys shooting it from the Rip.
And then the Caps have got to hit the glass because both teams in the bonus.
Well, there's 4 on the shot clock. Meal driving baseline. Pass stolen by Aaron Anderson. It's a 2-on-1. Anderson goes right at the defense.
Straight up.
He misses. Ilton gets it over to Tueta. Tueta pushing it up court. He wants to settle for 1 shot. Meals open, over to Hurdle. Wide open 3 is up.
That's the look they want.
It's good.
Leah Scott from the women's team is losing her mind in the back of the grandstand.
Does he have a timeout?
He does. Not going to use it though.
Anderson loses it. Tueta picks it up and then's fouled by Zach Carter with half a second to go on the shot clock.
What? Didn't he have he has a timeout according to the board.
He does, yeah.
And he was too busy whinging about the 3 going down instead of focusing on 6 seconds to go. Let's win the game. I don't get it.
There's some real talk from Double D.
Well, am I talking the truth?
I'm with you.
There's a timeout now taken by Coach Arausi.
Well, you're going to lose the game now because of it.
Well, you know what you do. Make the first, just throw the second up anywhere. Let the clock start.
And I think Thunder...
Don't let the Caps advance the ball.
Well, I think Thunder, a few of the Caps people in front of me were sharing my frustration of you had a timeout, mate.
Yeah.
There was there was about 6 seconds to go.
Sure
Yeah,
was.
It was. 5 points, well, maybe 5.7 or something.
Just about 6, no timeout taken. Big hit by Hurdle. He was hitting them all game. He was wide open again.
He was wide open.
And now Caps staring at a 2-4 record.
But the Caps timeout, no one said a word in that Caps timeout. Did you see that? No strategy, no do this, do that, nothing.
Well, there's not much you can do, to be honest with you. Ripper at the free throw line for 2 shots with 0.6 seconds left.
Well,
It'll take a miracle
At the very least, you can tell the refs that if he makes it or misses, we want a timeout right away.
Do they have any? They do. They still have the one left. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Coach Arasi took that timeout. So there's 0.6 second left.
We could be wrong. If the score bench is saying he has a timeout. So if he doesn't, then we look like gooses. But according to the score bench, he has a timeout left.
Izzy Tueta hits the first, so it's a 3-point game.
And if he makes this, if he misses, it's over because the clock runs. If he makes it, it's a 2-possession game. Either way, the Rip get a massive road win here in Brisbane.
He makes them both, and that's going to do it. Anderson going to try and throw one up, doesn't even get the shot off. And the Rip come into Auchenflower, take Brisbane's best punch, and come away with a 4-point win, 88-84. Hats off to Brisbane for getting it back to within a couple and nearly sneaking one away, but the Rip withstood the pressure and are able to come out with a win, led by their two guards, Izzy Tueta and Lance Hurdle.
Yeah, pretty handy 55 points from the backcourt for the Rip. No disrespect to the rest of them, but they didn't help out a great deal. Ilton finished with 10, Josh Tueta with 9, and again, great win by the Rip, really gutsy, and they grinded it out and did what they needed to do with a fairly quiet performance from McAllister.
Well, they saved McAllister. I think they're, they'll be walking into the locker room and he should be hugging everybody.
He's buying beers.
He's buying beers for a while. And Lance Hurdle stepped up massively, but so did the other guys. Josh Tueta played well. Louis Ilton was an animal on the glass all night.
Yeah.
But some of these other guys who usually don't go mentioned on the broadcast, they stepped up and gave some good minutes as well. I mean, even Walker, I thought, stepped in and played his role in McAllister's absence really well. But on the other hand, Brisbane showed a lot too. I think they found something of that middle pick and roll action.
Yeah.
And hopefully tonight is enough for Aaron Anderson to get going because he looked great in patches, and hopefully he wakes up tomorrow in the ankles relatively healthy and he can carry over tonight's form moving forward, because if he plays like that, they're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, and again, Brisbane, they'll be disappointed, and we did say it was a bit of a do or die, but equally I think some really positive signs, getting their season back on. If they play like that the remainder of the season, they're going to get plenty more wins. So I agree. I like some of the things they did offensively. Defensively, I think they'll go look at the tape and they'll realise they really were a bit sloppy in a lot of ways. Finding their guys, too much ball watching and not enough staying on their man, and they just allowed too many threes.
Well, it was an entertaining game. If nothing else, it was low scoring for a while. It looks like we have Lance Hurdle coming up. But, they picked up the pace and they played some great ball. I'll give Lance my headset, Dave. You guys can run an interview with him.
Joined now by Rip point guard, Lance Hurdle. Thanks so much for chatting with us, Lance. That was a huge win for you guys. They made it really interesting there in the second half, but you had that big three to retake the lead.
Yeah.
That's just a great win coming into Auchenflower and pulling this one out.
Yeah, that was a tough one, man. It's a tough team, especially here in Auchenflower. So we're grateful for the win. That was good.
And how important? How do you guys feel? I mean, you guys now 5-1. You only have the one loss on the season. You're right at the top. You come in obviously with a lot of confidence. Yeah. How's the feel within the group, guys, at the moment?
It feels really good, man. We're just going to continue to build off this and get ready for the doubleheader next week. Brisbane Caps is always a tough team, so to get them twice is really good for us.
You seem, I know you always play with confidence, but you seem really comfortable out there, really looking for that shot.
Yeah.
Nice ball movement from you guys to get you some looks. How'd you feel on the court tonight?
In the first half, my back was spasming up a little bit, but like I tell my kids back, the kids that I train back home, is just to keep shooting when your shots is not falling and that mental toughness. So I just kept shooting, man, and just was confident in myself. So.
We'll talk about a couple of plays, Lance. You tried to yak one on Carla.
Yeah.
he got you.
Yeah, he got me, but I told him I was getting him back.
But you did get him back with heating up in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Did you see anything specifically, or us watching, we were critical of the Brisbane defense.
Yeah.
They really lost you guys in that third quarter. It was unbelievable, actually. You were wide open.
Yeah. That's a testament to our shooters on the team. We had Zane, Izzy. You just got to pick your spots.
Yeah.
I happened to be open and I shot the ball with confidence, and to God be the glory, I hit it.
Great win. I mean, again, we talked with Izzy a couple weeks ago. He thinks you're legit. You're legit contenders this year?
Yeah, I think so. I think if we keep building and we keep staying positive, I think we have a great chance.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
How big is losing McAllister, though? He you know, to pull out a win without him, he's a big part of the team. I thought you guys responded really well without him as in the rotation, because he was in foul trouble all night.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about. You know, when we have our team meetings, we talk about staying together no matter what, and riding the wave. So it was good to stay together, losing a big piece like Eric. So. It was good. It was good.
Well, it was a great pleasure for us to call the game. It was a great win for you guys. Thanks so much for chatting with us. I'm sure you guys want to hit the road and have a few cold ones to celebrate.
McAllister's buying.
Yeah, it's on Eric, right?
He's buying.
It's water for me.
All right. Well, thank you so much to Lance Hurdle for joining us. We're going to wrap things up. I do got to thank Chris Eber on the camera. I got to thank Dan George on the call, Dave Derwin also on the call, and also James Bowman from the Australian Sports Network for all the graphics and support he gives us. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We'll bring the QBL Game of the Week for you again next weekend. It's the Pirates against Gladstone. We'll have the doubleheader for you Saturday night. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in to another production of the QBL Game of the Week from Nothing But Net Media and Live Sport Australia.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mark.